Hello, and welcome to Zesty Boys Film Club, Episode 1. Leon the Professional. Or possibly just Leon, or possibly just the Professional.
No,
A complicated selection of names.
Yeah, so I'm just going to give you a little rundown. Obviously, you guys all know this, but it's a 1994 film.
No, one moment. We're first going to say there will be spoilers. So if you haven't watched it,
Oh yeah.
just go and watch it before.
Sorry, guys,
Yeah.
you didn't know the film came out in 1994.
Yeah.
That's ruined.
Yeah, 1994 film.
Yeah.
Matilda, a 12-year-old girl, is reluctantly taken in by Leon, a professional assassin, after her family is murdered. Leon and Matilda form an unusual relationship as she becomes his protege and learns the assassin's trade. Directed by Luc Besson, who directed The Fifth Element.
Oh,
The other film that I...
Yeah.
oh dude,
That was
I
a
didn't
real
know that
pleasant
you
surprise.
spoiled it.
Then it's
Yeah.
Jean Reno? Don't really know.
Sean. It'll be Sean. He's
Sean.
Spanish.
Gary Oldman and Natalie Portman, who is very young in this film.
Yeah.
How old? Do you know how old she is at the time of filming?
I actually
She is 13, and it's her first acting role in a movie. Yeah.
She can't be 13. She has to be older than that.
No, I looked her up.
Don't-
She was 13 in it,
That's
playing a
Holy
12-year-old,
shit.
Yeah.
which completely ruins the immersion.
Wow,
of
yeah,
course.
that's I'm surprised she managed to pull that off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She knew how mature she was, but had to dumb it down a year.
I was pleasantly surprised to see Luc Besson in there, because I did incredibly enjoy watching The Fifth Element, and it was a really favourite film of mine when I was younger.
Yeah.
Is it not still?
Oh, definitely, but you know,
But
things change.
This isn't a Fifth Element.
Yeah, come on, guys, let's stay focused.
Anyway, what I like about The Fifth Element is...
Yeah. And today we are discussing the Fifth Element.
Yeah.
So,
But yes.
I mean, this is the first time we've done Zesty Boys Film Podcast, so we're not quite sure the format that this is going to take right now.
It
But,
very much had this sort of... Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to go with why I picked this film. I think
Yeah.
that's what we talk
Yeah.
about, where each person could maybe discuss why they... Now, I hadn't seen Leon before I nominated it. I originally came across the film several years ago when I used to play a lot of the fan favourite team-based shooter, Team Fortress 2, when they added a cosmetic item for the sniper that was Leon's hat and glasses.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
That's actually
And
from
then I
this.
read some stuff about it, and then it sounded like a cool film. And then, over time, I'd come across other people who'd seen it and had recommended it to me, and I thought I'd chuck it in, and I was glad I did because I very much enjoyed it. But I'd be keen to know what other people thought on that matter.
By
It
the
very much
way,
took me by surprise
by the
as
way-
a movie.
by the way, Fabian,
Yes?
you're very visibly breathing.
Oh, sorry, I'll...
Yeah, but
and
visibly. So, do you want to change that?
visibly breathing.
Fabian,
Yeah, you're
took you by surprise?
Well, you know, I came into it expecting, say, something similar to... Oh, what's its name? The Keanu Reeves one.
John Wick.
Yeah, I came in expecting a John Wick. You know, it's a hitman who goes around stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got Leon. We got essentially like Kick-Ass meets Lolita, which
Yeah,
was
that's
unexpected.
pretty accurate.
Who's Lolita?
Lolita is a very controversial book written by... I can't remember. But it's essentially about
Vladimir Nabokov, isn't it?
That's the name I thought of, actually. So I suspect yes. And it's about a relationship between a sort of late 30s man and a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And it has very strong relations to this because in the movie, Matilda, the girl who is 12, does fall in love with Leon, for those listening at home.
Yeah.
And often, you know, attempts to get kisses and sexual relations out of it.
Yeah. I wasn't really expecting that sort of thing, but it's just
I
like,
know.
Yeah, it definitely did catch me.
Yeah.
Point we can start on. What did you think of the relationship between Leon and Matilda?
Well, it does. Going back to my literary roots, it has got definite strong connections to Nabokov because the characters both very strongly relate to each other, of the idea of this 12-year-old, I think they describe it as a nymphot, or some sort of...
But I'm not sure that's fair, because I rather felt like Leon, like certainly the sexual desire of Matilda isn't reciprocated
No,
by
it's
Leon.
not.
No, not at all. I'm saying
okay.
Matilda's character alone.
Henry,
Yeah?
what's the pinging? I think it's from you.
What? Pinging? No, it wasn't me. No, what were you going to say to me? Well,
yeah,
banter.
no.
Radio
Well-
silence.
Yep, good podcast.
You can wrap it up, guys. I like the film, just for my opinion, before we close up.
It was very out of the whole relationship thing, but I think, that's partly developed from her having, horrifically traumatic experiences happen, since she
Yeah.
sees all of her family get murdered.
What I
Yeah.
think is quite interesting about that as
And
well
then
is
attaches to the one source of affection she got.
back near the beginning of the film as well, there's this bit where they're like, there's basically one scene where they go through her house, before they go and die.
Yeah, with you.
And there's like a lot of sort of sexualization going on around her.
Yeah, there
And
is.
so it then makes even more sense when she kind of goes down that alley herself.
Yeah.
Because being around that, she probably sees like that sort of quote unquote lust around her.
on her parents having sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like it's because she talks about love quite often, but it would make even further sense that she sees love as more lustful, more sort of animalistic than one would want to, like Leon, who doesn't want to, obviously legally shouldn't reciprocate it. Let's just clarify that would be a bad move.
No.
But yeah, it was quite cool watching over again, because especially the way some people respond, it's actually kind of seeded quite well. It comes from somewhere, the way that people act in it.
Yeah, like
I'll say.
Leon doesn't want to get into anything like a relationship again, and then because of the way it affected him when he was younger.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really cool. It's really
Yeah.
The acting from Matilda was very impressive.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, I think it's my favourite.
She was doing great acting. She was really emotive.
Yeah.
And,
Considering she was
seemed
only
happy
13
or
at the
tearful.
time.
Yeah.
Like, I thought she must have been older than that.
Yeah, I thought she must have been like probably 18, but just happens to have an incredible baby face, and then they can mess with angles. But wow,
Yeah, that's normal. Not what happens, isn't it?
I was impressed by Natalie Portman. Yeah.
Yeah, they pick actors that are older but look a lot younger.
Yeah.
That's mostly not about acting ability. That's to do with child labour laws.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely I mean, I know people change a lot in their teenage years, but if I didn't know that was Natalie Portman, I wouldn't have realised.
No.
I think I would have. I didn't know it was initially. But I was like, oh my god, is that a young Natalie Portman?
I had no clue it was her, and only realised when this kid's acting is amazing. Who is it? And looked it up and said, "Oh, Natalie Portman."
It's that woman from
shit.
Star Wars prequels.
I know
Was
that
it
name. Yeah.
Was it was it her first film?
Yeah,
It
is.
was her first film.
That's
Yes.
a crazy way to start.
Her debut.
Because I'm not like discrediting any of her other like performances. I love a lot of things that she does, but with this one, I might say like it's my favorite performance by her, which is quite crazy when she was 13. And she's now done so much.
Yeah, she actually hasn't ever really inspired me, or
Well,
I haven't ever been particularly impressed by any of her acting roles, but this one definitely got me.
Have you seen Black Swan? Because she's supposed to be very
I
good.
have not.
Yeah, I've seen
imagine
Black
she-
Swan, but I would still say I prefer her in this. I mean, she still does a great job as well, but the character that she plays is kind of like supposed to be not so as surprisingly far less emotive than she is in Leon.
Yeah, she's.
There is that brilliant moment when she's knocking on his door and she's just realised, or at least her family have been killed,
Yeah.
and he's not opening the door, and she's just out there, trying to keep it all together.
Yeah.
That was very impressive, seeing her like falling
very
apart, terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a bit
good
earlier
acting.
than that when it was establishing a family and she's on the phone and she like pretends to be a dad and like just watching over again, like she really looks like she's just fucking dying on the inside. She like learns that she's going to be expelled.
During sort of the early bits, I mean, having her sort of arguing with her sister and talking on the phone and stuff. I found it a little bit sort of cheesy, and I felt writing a bit bad, and sort of she's on the phone to the school, and just sort of, hey, sort of, this is the mum. Oh yeah, your kid hasn't been at school for ages. What's going on?
I know what you mean. It's a bit on the nuts.
Dead and hangs up.
Oh yeah, that line was a bit cheesy.
Yeah,
the writing did feel a bit sort of stupid.
But like
absolutely there. That and the early film's obsession with really zoomed in close up shots.
Well, no, I think it's claustrophobic, isn't it? Because it's all the way they shoot it, and a lot of things they'll have it framed around an actual door frame, which then makes it seem even more closing in. So I was fine with it doing that because it did.
I like the way that the camera was at the beginning. They used like the way the camera. It almost like jump cut, didn't it, to like different sections in like when the murders were happening.
Yeah, I actually kind of missed the steam and the energy that it had at the beginning, because I feel like there's sort of like an hour in the middle where it goes down onto the other route of exploring the relationship with them. But I felt that could have been concised quite a bit. That would be my one complaint.
You get Leon's initial the bit where he's sent to go and get that guy on the phone, and he kills all the lackeys and things.
Yeah.
That was quite a... I mean, I know this did it first, obviously, but that was quite a John Wick scene.
Yeah.
And I thought that was some very well done action, and definitely set the scene for him as, as a cleaner.
But no, I started to like miss the action. I definitely understand. Like, obviously, there's the charade scene, which is the best.
But I really like that scene.
I did enjoy the occasional moments of humour within
Henry's been going on about
the paintball gun attacks and the charade scene.
They
were kind of fun.
Hey Pilgrim line.
It's like it's really nice for them to temper to have like humour like that, but in a way that is sincere. Like, it's funny because like it's very human. It brings them down to earth, which is perfect. But I feel when it gets to that scene, I'm fine for like that they've gone down that route to explore their relationship. But I then feel after that point, it keeps trying to further humanise them, but to a point where I don't actually care anymore. Like, I understand that, and I felt like at that point would have been a good moment to, I don't know why you write it in, but to have like just action again. Because I really miss the action, because it's basically like the beginning and the end are action, and then the middle bit is a
why is that a problem?
I felt it was about
fine with that.
Showing the connection between them and him slowly warming to her and accepting her into his life.
That could have been so much though. They did it so well, but then
what's the point? Going. What's the point making it shorter? Just so they can have.
I slightly felt, and maybe this isn't just this is just me because I'm quite into my action. That for a film that's about a hitman, I actually could have enjoyed if there was a bit more hitmaning going on in it.
Yeah, I think that might have been what would have solved it for me.
But I think that's because that's not what the film's meant to be.
Yeah,
film isn't meant to be a film about
I'm not saying it'd be about anything else. I'm not saying it'd be about anything else. And you say like, obviously the bit in the middle is done well, but like generally, like it is objectively better to convey what they want in a shorter amount of time as opposed to.
And then add
establishing scenes,
and then add a scene that doesn't add very much, which is actually
like you would. You'd write it different. I'm not saying they suddenly be like, "Oh, here's a fight now" that they don't explain.
I mean,
he's a cleaner.
Exactly. Like it like they'll have to add something to the plot.
I feel it wasn't intended to be a hard action movie.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And contain violence.
No, it's not.
It's a movie about a hitman, not about a hitman doing his job.
I was completely fine with the amount of action there was in there, because it's not meant to be a full-on action film.
Well, you don't know what the film's meant to be about. You don't actually...
Yeah.
What I say about it, it's more like them... So the way you try to evaluate a film is, did they achieve what they wanted? And they certainly did. But just to my taste, I felt like they achieved it already, but kept trying to achieve the same thing, whereas they didn't need to anymore.
But it was...
And I actually found myself getting a bit bored in the middle, to be fully honest. If we're, really taking the gloves off.
I mean, that's very Henry, isn't it? I mean,
piece of shit.
What?
No.
I did find myself that it felt long as a movie. I didn't sort of get lost into it because it kept coming back to sort of much sort of simpler, less exciting scenes about just them doing ordinary stuff, and I expected more to be going on.
But
I feel I'm not quite yet the sort of arty hipster type that watches that kind of movie regularly.
Well, I would say it's too artsy. I don't understand why you'd say it like that.
I feel that adding just more of like the normal scenes and not the action, that it does just add extra bits to it. But if there was like an action scene,
well, it was about your sort of coming of age story. Two people who were forced together by circumstance and steadily grow to become friends and close to one another. It was just in the controversial setting of a jaded hitman and a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah. If they were to cut the and who is pinging?
I think that was my phone. I thought I turned it off. Sorry.
Could you?
I'll get on it.
That's completely.
Yeah.
I've completely lost it now.
What are you talking? Like, it was more so about if you cut out.
Oh yeah. Instead of like, cutting the more like the relationship part and then adding an action scene, they maybe would if I didn't feel that it would have been better to have less of the more relationship between the two people, but if anything, it'd be make the film shorter instead of adding another action scene. I don't like.
No, actually, to be fair, it's probably. It's also. I'm just saying, I really like the action, but I probably best case, at least for me, would be if they just removed a chunk of it and just got through the story quicker.
The action was very good. It was shot very well. Like it was almost like there were like lots of jump cuts to when the action was actually happening.
Choreographed very well.
And it also didn't overemphasize the use of, say, blood and gore, which a lot of action movies do. It wasn't sort of, you shoot someone, viscera goes flying, blood sprayed everywhere. So when occasionally there was blood and violence,
it was pretty. It was.
I seem to remember one scene where a wall was spattered with blood afterwards. But they didn't. It wasn't like every murder had to be brutal and bloody. But when they did, they took advantage of their 18 rating.
Later in the film, when he breaks into the police station, to go rescue her, and I was sort of expecting that to be a whole thing, and actually, it was pretty concise.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, they kind of just cut that quite quickly.
He kind of just went in, shot a couple of people, and then they were out.
It's like that's more realistic though, which is quite interesting.
You know,
it was quite jarring.
I thought that was going to be the finale, and then it just wasn't.
We're kind of used to sort of, the simplest.
He's just cut out.
And then it has to be about rescuing her, clearly.
Did anybody hear Fabian just cut out then?
Yeah, he did cut out.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, damn. Okay, then that's a bit annoying.
Oh no, you're wrong now.
With the paintball scene.
Oh yeah,
I was slightly confused for a while before I worked out.
I think that's.
Yeah.
I found that quite funny. I thought that was a nice little touch of humour in the middle.
It was. Are we gonna watch this girl kill an innocent civilian?
Yeah, I was there like,
what is this? This
I thought Leon would just kill a random guy.
Well. And then when the paint hit, you're like, oh, whoa.
Well, even when the paint hit, I didn't realise because I thought it might just be bad blood effect.
Yeah. I know, but that's why he keeps saying "Don't worry, I'm fine." I guess that's because when you look at it, it's very easy to think it's bad because they should have made it green or something. But it's their decision, and he sort of keeps saying "Don't worry, guys, I'm okay."
It's quite. I did find it funny later when she told him that guy at gunpoint, and she keeps with paintballs.
And he's just
the guy has
what
just
the fuck?
so much. Yeah, you've got the sheer panic of the guy before, and then he gets shot, and he's sort of freaking out,
and then they're
Jesus, what the fuck's going on here?
And then
it was good.
I like Leon.
Yeah, then Leon just explains in the middle of it what she should have done instead. As the guy was just there listening.
It's almost denial of the usual action tropes because as you said, you do that and then it's a punchline oh, it was just pain, and then they talk through it, and then when the actual death comes, they make so little of it as possible.
Yeah.
Because the point is not the point is not the actual death. The point
Yeah.
is
The
about
teaching.
the joke between the two of them and the learning.
It's Leon. It's about Leon.
Like you know, it didn't happen so much, but like the fact that in action films, normally the main character goes and does something ridiculous and somehow survives and does like more stuff, like getting shot and stuff, and then being able to do. Like
I mean,
a lot.
I felt Leon was slightly guilty
Yeah,
of that.
yeah, it was a bit guilty of that. Like he did get shot once, didn't he?
Where he got
Muppet.
sort of grazed by a bullet.
Yeah.
Are we talking the ending here?
No, when he's hanging upside down in the doorway,
Yeah.
his shoulder gets grazed by a bullet.
Yeah, I mean that is
Yeah.
the end.
So the end scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel though that. I mean, he didn't really have to do much after then. It wasn't like
He did have to do a lot after that.
I
mean,
wait, can we talk about Gary Oldman?
yeah, because
We need to talk about Gary Oldman.
he was good at being ominous and feeling
yeah.
dangerous.
That
Yeah, it's
sort
weird
of
'cause-
very kind of manic sense
Yeah.
of danger that he had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's the first time because I've always known the name Gary Oldman and always known he's been very well revered, but I
Yeah.
actually kind of never really knew what they were going on about because I'd yet to see like a performance where I was impressed. But with that one, I was very sort of.
Yeah.
But there's a really cool moment where it's like it's not like a big. They don't make a big thing of it, but they've just shot up the family. They go outside. He does like the thing where he shoots beside the old woman,
Yeah.
and it's sort of like he said, "Go back inside." But then after that point, because he's like, I guess like so
Worked
traumatized from
up.
getting blood on his shirt and stuff.
Yeah.
Then like the other guy with him is literally just like pulling him around because he just isn't
I
even
didn't
thinking
notice
about
that.
like walking. Yeah, he's
Wow.
like he doesn't actually really walk by himself. He's like the person goes outside. He says, "Come in," but like grabs onto his shoulders and he sort of like stumble walks because he just isn't really like thinking about that anymore.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cool characterization. It's
Yeah.
very clear that he made up a lot of characterization off
Yeah.
of the page, as opposed to I doubt like
Um.
half of that was described in the actual script. But yeah, really cool
He felt-
characterization.
I don't know what
He
it.
felt very sort of aggressive and dangerous.
Yeah,
You know, whenever he was in a scene, ominous and like he could snap at any moment and just suddenly
And you
bash
got
out
that
and someone be
real-
dead.
You know, even that real sense that the people that were working with him were all very afraid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
in the first scene, you know, when he comes to revisit Matilda's dad,
Yeah.
it just snaps. And the moment guns start firing and he starts shooting people, everyone is panicking and everyone's
Yeah.
freaking out. And everyone thinks at any moment they're going to get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, what's the bit where
clearly-
like
He does kill one of his guys, doesn't he? At some point.
well, kind of? There's like just one bit as well where he like it's really funny where he like just happens to walk through a hallway and his other guys are back there and they all just like jump in fear. They're
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah.
wait, no, it's just
Yeah.
him. I thought that was really funny in the way that he doesn't even care about them to the level where he's not gonna like warn them. He's not gonna let them know what he's about to do. So no
He
one,
did feel
not
like-
even they know that.
a dangerous individual.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it was. But like a lot of the time, like the scenes just seemed very uniquely done. I don't know what it was that made it seem unique, but like it just a weird feeling that it doesn't happen very often with films, at least for me.
Okay.
Like especially at the beginning. Maybe it was all the jump cuts, the and how they
Keeping everything close.
yeah,
not revealing
yeah,
too much.
yeah, kind of keeping everything short and stuff in the action. That I really like that. Like because normally action is like more elongated to what it would actually be. You know, there'd be like sections of action that say like a running section, you know, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
this it was just to the point, and I really like that.
Hey, sorry, cut out for a bit, but
We didn't even
Yeah.
need you, Henry. Didn't need
yeah,
you.
no, I was glad I didn't like wasn't mid sentence. I'm happy to have just dumped out for
Yeah,
like a minute.
yeah, that's good.
Anyway, whatever you said, it's
Cool.
entirely wrong.
We're
and I think
on the action, and we're on the action again, and what we thought about
But
that.
the thing is, it's like they don't make a big thing of it.
No,
but
they don't.
it's shot well. Like it's when they do have a death, it's usually quite quick. I remember one, when Gary Oldman's like fucking just beast moding the family. He's like, there's a very quick short,
Beast moding.
a very quick cut. It's done in like one thing where the camera's like up on the ceiling and it's the woman in like the bath.
When he shoots the woman in the bath. Yeah, that was exactly the shot I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just done really well because it's very quick. There's not. I don't think there's even any gore. They kind of just splash
not
water
really.
and that works.
There's definitely blood. There was definitely a lot of blood there.
Like a spot of red, I remember, but it was actually just a lot of water as well. It's just very quick. It's very clear what's happened, but it doesn't need to actually like, perversely linger.
And the fact
that scene,
and it really
definitely
underlined the violence of his character.
Yeah, it did. It was just like
how
suddenly
throwaway that murder was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no
they
expression.
also really emphasise the severity of the
it's just
panning shots back to the splayed, so a splayed corpse in the ground, or the bath from behind with a large shotgun blast through it and stuff. It really sort of emphasised how brutal it was.
Yeah, and it shows it in post more so. It lingers on them, but even then, it doesn't actually show the body. It just shows the blood going through the hole, which again leaves it to the imagination, and then makes it a lot more sort of
a lot worse.
Horrible. Yeah, it makes it worse. It's great.
I for that scene, I did have to like go back and rewatch a bit. Like I didn't like it was a bit too fast. Like
I definitely enjoyed watching it over again and being able to watch the cool cinematography sort of.
It was
tricks.
the bit where there was the father with the gun behind him or something, wasn't it? And that shot and shot before that was of the son and being under the bed, and like I had to like and then the father and the son got shot, and I had to like rewatch that like 2-minute section just because like just understanding what just happened.
Trying to because they go over the action so quickly. Perhaps I guess that could be a criticism, but I was fine with it. But like it happens so quickly. I mean, it clarifies the outcome. So in a way, I definitely want to watch that first. There was some bits of like I guess you'd say choreography that I actually didn't register on, but you're then clarified that they dead. So, and that's kind of the important thing. Because again, it's like really cool that it is taking it away from that and taking it more onto the characters. When I looked it up, I had a feeling like it's not based off of a comic book, is it?
I don't think so.
No, but the way that it's all carried out, I very much got a sense of like very strong characterization of a lot of people, and it has that almost sort of cartoon quality of like whereas in a comic book you have just a picture to show someone being murdered. In a film that translates it to be very
thing.
quick and snappy.
Yeah.
Also, like, so they went and formed all the characters of the family, and you kind of like expect like them to stick around a bit longer than they did.
That was really well done.
And then suddenly they're all just dead, other than the daughter.
Well, it is kind of the cliche that they kind of made them quite horrible people. Which they kind of do, so you don't feel too bad.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in this case,
I definitely felt bad for the young boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, him. Matilda clarifies that as well.
Yeah. She says like I don't really care about 3 members of my family, but my brother. That's why we should.
Well, I'd say So whilst it is kind of a cliche, especially in action films, to like make people bad people just so like you can kill them off easily. At least in this sense, it makes sense for Matilda and why she feels the way she does and how she kind of manages to just about cope.
But also, while they were sort of established as bad people, they definitely weren't established as bad people enough to deserve
What's
what
that sound?
No, obviously, I'm not saying they deserve death or lust.
Yeah,
sinful people.
But they were just like the standard like poor, just needing money. But then there is the lust side of it as well, isn't there? But still, like they were. Like,
I don't know why lust seems to be the word.
Was the mother a prostitute? Because that seemed to be implied.
I think it was.
Did it?
Sure.
I didn't get that implication at all.
Did you see her boobies?
Well, I felt
she said she was going to work.
Yeah, but
she said she had a job, busy during the day, that she was going to be late. Plays regular.
You've just cut out.
But the thing is, when he said, "Why don't you work from home today?"
Oh, I get what you're thinking.
That
could be
implying that to me.
That'd be very subtle, though. I wouldn't put it past.
I felt that was more him just trying to be a bit flirty and get a sort of, hey, why don't you stay back and we can spend some time together kind of
Well,
thing.
obviously the implication kind of was that they just wanted to bone.
Yeah.
But that could be like a sort of coded implication.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Though.
Maybe I'm
I
reading
think-
into that too much.
Well, she was wearing revealing, and she was wearing quite revealing clothing. So I at least think that they probably were trying to imply it as well. Although it's irrelevant whether or not whether it's actually important. Like it might be, and I just haven't picked up. But yeah,
I
it seems
feel
definitely they'd want to imply that.
she was wearing the clothing because that's the sort of character that she was. Like
Sort of gal she is. I mean, yeah, that's also perfectly plausible. But,
like there literally was a one of the kids just walked in on them having sex. I mean, they didn't exactly make it subtle.
By the way, like with the older sister who was like doing yoga in front of the TV, I'm surprised she was like happy to like do those shots. You know what I mean? Because it was like just very much the the center of the camera was just her butt wobbling up and down. I'm surprised that she was happy to do that.
I don't know, I feel like I've seen actors do much worse.
Well, yeah, but it's like for a character that is essentially killed off pretty quickly, and that's like your only real character scene.
Yeah, that's
like half of the scene is your butts in front. Like I was just saying, like
that's what you're gonna be
sort of happy to do a character. Yeah.
That's what you're gonna be remembered for.
I'll be a butt actor.
Butt actor.
Professional butt for hire.
Oh.
Anyway, probably should move on to another point.
Later on, just in terms of coolness factor, I thought it was really cool when he was the bit where he's hanging upside down in the door.
Yeah.
It
was really cool.
Oh, so
fucking
should we
IT
talk
crowd.
the ending then, guys?
Okay,
should we talk the ending?
Let's talk the ending.
Super spoiler warnings, I kind of guess.
Yeah. I mean,
because we haven't said anything. Yeah.
If you
So
look-
do leave.
The ending results with our corrupt DEA officer who killed the parents at the start, finding out where they live and coming to get them. And they grab Matilda when she's coming back from shopping and
he's like
bust down the door.
extremely happy at this point. Just like happy as she's been like the entire movie.
But you sort of feel you've just had the scene where she, properly comes on to Liam and says, I want to have my first time with you. And he turns her down, but also opens up about his past and his tragic love from before, which I want to instantly check in is,
they're both
I want to
crying
instantly
at
check
this
in
point.
that is also a real strong connection to Lolita, and there's heavy inspiration from there. And his character's the same. Yeah.
I saw it ages ago, but I can't, I can't
moment
quite
in.
remember. Yeah.
And back. But then, she understands from what he said, this isn't going to work. And she seems to move on and sort of open up a bit. And they sort of say, do you want to share a bed? And they just sort of sleep. And they sort of, from then on, you've got less of the sort of weird, aggressive sexual tension from her.
The undertones.
Sort of, he's sort of lying in bed and feels more relaxed and comfortable. And you feel like they've both developed and moved on as people.
Yeah, that's
to a happier point.
Yeah.
Which is then trashed and broken down when
like
Gary Oldman finds them.
Like she's literally skipping down the road and then just gets jumped.
She's at a more childish point, a carefree point that we haven't seen her at since her parents died.
I think it's definitely written very well because the entire thing is a progression towards that point. And it's tempered it very well, knowing that, okay, at this point they've now both concluded as characters. So we can now, then they obviously, the whole ending scene does definitely feel like they're going into another gear because that's what you expect of a film. You could you kind of technically could just finish it then and then they're happy. But like, obviously the average viewer wants like, oh no, I want the death.
There was definitely, although I kind of expected Leon was going to die, there was a moment when, and I think it kind of worked because you kind of felt it at the same time as Leon did, where there's that moment where you think maybe he is going to get away.
I think it's done very well.
When you've got the ending and Gary Oldman's walking up behind a gun, and you can see him going through the dark corridor towards the light of freedom, and you think he's going to get away, and you're sitting there thinking, shit, Gary's about to get him, how is he going to avoid it?
The fucking music changes when Gary Oldman comes around the corner and the violins just go like, and you're like, oh, fuck.
You see him reach the corridor and you realise that's the corridor he was emptied earlier. he's here somewhere, and you see him walk out, and you think, oh fuck,
like-
he's here.
Like
Yeah.
so many
Them doing
scenes.
Yeah,
So many
them
scenes.
doing the shot really works quite well as well, because
so many
the way they
scenes-
sort of switch to first person and all.
Yeah.
So many scenes are just done very uniquely. The camera.
Cinematography is
Yeah,
on point.
yeah. The cinematography is just so unique. The
That's why
entire.
I sort of thought it might be like based off a comic book, because that is
Yeah.
kind of what they end up doing for comic book movies. But sorry, do carry on.
I think
okay.
Fabian was.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the point where Matilda's going down the shaft or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Folks, that's what it is. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you-
Please, come on.
I'm sorry for calling it what it is, Henry. Just because you've got.
Were you watching the same film we watched?
Yeah. Anyway, let's.
Henry
Before
was.
we get removed from YouTube, can we move
Yeah.
on?
Yeah, Henry was watching the uncensored version.
Yeah, please, let's move on.
Anyway, yes.
We're gonna get banned like before the first episode ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it ended,
Um,
when you had Matilda had just made to escape, and
yeah,
Leon was
and-
making his escape, I was
but-
confident. I was thinking any moment they're about to spot each other and know they've made it, and it'll be great.
Oh,
Yeah.
but no.
Imagine that. No.
Well, no, there was a moment before then that I thought he was going to make it, but as soon as Gary Oldman's character went onto him, I knew, okay, he's not.
Yeah.
The
But
thing
like, it was like
is
when he's
that,
going down the
like,
corner, it was like when he sort of turns around and he does those eyes, you're like, yeah, no. It's like
He-
this fucking shark after its prey.
Yeah.
He fucking did that
Yeah.
character
Yeah.
well.
he was so Leon was so like efficient at like his job the entire movie apart from that scene.
Yeah.
Like the entire movie, he just goes and kills absolutely everybody who ever
But to be
goes
honest,
in
in that scene,
contact with him.
we saw
and then he kind
how-
of Fabian, I'm speaking.
I've gone.
And then he kind of loses his guard for a second, and like
Yeah.
and Gary's following him.
Yeah, it like all
Yeah.
comes.
I think that is rather the point that
Yeah,
in some ways this relationship with Matilda has actually made him weaker
Yeah.
as a hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
look,
I
and
hadn't thought of it like that,
and
but
then,
yeah, that's very true.
and then it goes back to his boss saying like how women are troublemakers virtually. Like
Does
they're-
it? I can't quite remember that.
he not troublemakers, but like
He does say that.
yeah.
Yeah, I know he does earlier, but I didn't know. If
Yeah,
he said
yeah,
it.
but that's what I mean. Like his,
Ah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
that's
He kind of was right, which
Yeah,
is kind of really
he-
annoying.
yeah,
but
he-
it's
he-
obviously the
I
point.
just on a completely unrelated side note, I really expected Tony was going to betray him and
Yeah,
wasn't
I-
going to give the money or
It's
whatever.
weird.
Then he
the
sort
way-
of did at the end.
The way that he talked about, like, he kept going on about, like, oh,
Who's
like,
Tony?
the Bank of Tony. Oh, he's the guy
Yeah,
who,
him,
like,
yeah,
had the money
yeah,
and stuff. And I
yeah.
thought, like, oh, God, is he just gonna, like, be a dick? But they probably did that on purpose as well, because he did end up being quite stand-up. He did get... It was quite surprising how angry he got at her at the end. But then that makes sense when you think about he's just lost Leon, and basically he's mentally blaming it on her. And it
Yeah.
kind of is her fault, but obviously she's just a kid. But
Yeah.
seeing like him
And-
get angry and not apologetically was quite.
And
sort
I
of-
did get the impression he actually sort of cared about Leon.
yeah.
Oh, definitely, yes. And her
Yeah.
tearing up at the end there really went well. It was,
Like do you think that like the
Huh?
tearing up of the end, like it was done really well, like, every single time.
She's good at crying.
Yeah, just good crying. It was like a pretty emotional film, wasn't it? It was.
Mm.
It was.
They definitely knew how to tug at the heartstrings. And
Yeah.
also, to bring up something else, soundtrack.
Oh,
really liked the
soundtrack was
soundtrack.
amazing.
it definitely blended well. It
Yeah.
added to the whole experience.
Yeah.
Especially the idea of being like a particular hitman, and I remember when they had like a specific song they used for like when they were focusing on like
Yeah.
either him training her or him like doing his job by himself. It was that sort of like percussionist,
Yeah.
quite very syncopated patterns, which I thought worked really well in regards
Yeah, it
to
does the
professionality.
it does the Game of Thrones thing where like it links music and characters or
Well,
or
most films do that though.
yeah, I know, no, but like every single time, so in Game of Thrones, every single time there's a character or a certain thing happening to that character, it does exactly the same music.
I imagine it's probably more pronounced in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I've never noticed that.
Oh
in Game of
yeah,
Thrones.
I noticed it the second. I guess have you watched it second time?
No.
Okay.
Well,
But anyway,
I
this
know-
isn't the Game
yeah.
of Thrones discussion.
Yeah, I noticed it the
what?
second time I
All
watched
these
Game of
notes
Thrones.
on Game of Thrones.
Look, just doing a comparison, guys. Okay.
But no, yeah, that's fair. It's fair to bring up. And then, but I did end up asking about Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
so I take the blame. But yeah, soundtrack was great. It was sort of like that one song was. I noticed it's odd because the soundtrack itself is kind of not really one specific style. So there's the one like which is kind of plays when Leon is being professional and teaching her and shit. But then the rest of it was quite subdued, which means that when that one song came up, it kind of got your attention on purpose. Whereas you've got like the fucking strings when he's walking through the corridor, and then fucking like Gary Oldman like a shot in the corner, and then the strings just start crying and screaming, and it's like it's like a fucking car crash.
Yeah. Here we go. This is not going to how much Henry sucks. And are you how when you said like you don't know you never said that you liked the film.
Huh?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Earlier.
What?
Yeah.
This was just in a conversation we had, not on the podcast earlier, when Henry alleged that he'd never said that he liked the film.
And then in Discord, you've got it right here. There's a pretty good pick, Raph.
No, I said it was a good pick. Doesn't actually mean that the film itself is good.
The hell?
I said it was a good decision. I did word that very precisely at the time.
Look.
I know it doesn't matter.
Henry, come on, Henry.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Come on. Anyway, that's a tangent.
You're embarrassing.
But also, yeah,
Embarrassing.
that was just a point about saving discussion for this.
Yeah,
It's not really relevant.
But also, you actually told me to do it on the podcast. Or even.
Huh? Anyway,
You actually
the
said
film,
that.
Leon the Professional, the film that's released on DVD.
Leon the Professional.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yeah, the film, Natalie.
What do you think, Leon, the actor who I've temporarily forgotten the name?
I thought he was a good boy. No, yeah, for real. I think it was cast very well. I think there might be quite a large element of him just naturally having that disposition. But,
I really bought him as the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he's sort of talking quite smooth, he's kind of deliberately like, especially when he says that because I imagine English isn't his first language in character.
Did
So it kind of makes sense.
Did
What's that?
anyone else see Harry completely break up just then?
You completely
I'm
broke up a
here now
little
for
bit as
you,
well.
Raph.
Yeah, so am I okay now though?
I think it's you, Raph.
You sound fine, Hen. I think Raph's having some connection
I
problems.
think
Yeah.
Yeah, oh no, he's being possessed. Come on, viewers,
yeah.
give us
Here
likes.
Here comes the plane
I
crash.
thought Leon, though, definitely was a very well done actor.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just that is, the actor has one character and the character happens to
Probably
fit
is just
into
how he
that.
naturally is.
the only other thing I've seen him in was he was in Da Vinci Code.
Oh, the
He
Vinci
was quite different from that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Raph, your connection is really bad. Could you try
We can-
rejoining?
We can still talk with the robot though. It's a fun
Yeah.
extra guess. Hey, you there? You there, dude? Raph dog?
Raph dog.
Well, we might just have to sort of
Raph,
carry on talking.
Yeah.
It might be a bit dickish, but yeah,
Who needs Raph?
it's definitely like largely going to be like not that he necessarily has one character, but that he's bringing like his own disposition to it. But like when you think of the idea that because he doesn't actually know how to like read and write, but
Yeah.
when he's talking through stuff and he kind of like he starts sounding a lot more deliberate and precise because most naturally as a character he would have to think carefully about each word he says. So it sort of was very nice that it kind of especially contrasts with Matilda and how
Who's very,
she's sort of a
who's
lot
very
more
vocal and
emotional.
emotive.
Yeah.
Yeah, very emotive. Whereas he's sort of like when he's making a point and definitely like trying to argue against her,
Yeah.
sort of a lot slower, and which means as a viewer, there's naturally the thing of like if you want to like seem dramatic on camera, you just talk slower because it then means that the viewer has to
pay
be quiet.
more
Yeah,
attention.
they pay more attention. So definitely, whenever he's talking, he commanded the screen very well, and that's
Yeah.
what I'll say.
What did we think about the actual final ending? Leon is dead. He's been taken out. It's awful, and Matilda's stuck on her own again.
Yeah.
with the planting the tree at the end.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a bit sentimental.
Yeah, but I guess
thought. I mean, I thought it was good the way they sort of took her as, you know, she's got only one option left, and that's sort of the one other place she knows, which is the school she was stuck at before. And so she goes there, and it's sort of her beginning to go back to some vague idea of normality
Yeah.
I think
after
the
what
problem
was
is-
a kind of insane life.
the problem with the story, I mean, it's not a problem actually, but because obviously, you know, Hollywood, they want like a strong ending, and I guess the whole sort of plant thing gives it like a bookend, but it's a story that doesn't necessarily need a definitive ending.
No.
Like, as I was saying, like even before the shootout at the end,
Yeah, it could just...
like it's progressed quite well and it's gone well, and then the whole shootout kind of works as its own thing. But I might say that I would have been happy if it kind of managed to end there. Like, it just sort of pans away from the building, and the implication is that she goes off, because a lot of the film is the whole film is very claustrophobic, apart from the few scenes when they go out. Like, it's very claustrophobic and centered around that one place. So it might have been sort of a bit more complete if the ending of it is like, oh, and now she's going to leave this place.
Yeah.
The bookmark being the building, as opposed to them having like when she was walking around town with it, I don't know if it's just my weird sense of humor, but I found it quite funny, just her walking around with a potted plant.
As a motif, what do you think of the potted plant?
It was pretty funny. Like,
Well, but as a motif though,
this guy is just like he's a hitman, but just carries around a potted plant with him all the
felt
time.
kind of forced. I mean, it's something that like that's afterwards has become a cliche, especially for like sort of hitmen and sort of action characters that are supposed to be a bit unsocial. They give them like quirks, like the plant being a quirk, the milk being a quirk. Why did he drink so much milk?
I'd imagine, because I felt he also forced it on her for training. I think big and strong.
Yeah, have good calcium
Milk is
bones.
calcium for your good bones.
Good bones so you can do good shots.
Yeah.
I
Leon's
guess.
the kind of person who would updo Mr. Skeletal.
Yeah, but you get like sort of there's like quite a lot of I guess quirks that kind of end up painting him as a character. But since then it's become a cliche to kind of put in something that doesn't necessarily make sense.
I mean,
just to show like, oh, they're a weird character.
This was in 1994, so it's not like it's gonna like follow. It just taken these things happened in more modern movies.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I kind of was fine with it. I felt like the plant might actually be a thing that I just actually didn't quite like. It was incredibly, because obviously it was like the story's going along and they're like, ooh, we've got a shot now where he's moving his plant.
Yeah,
it was never actually relevant. The only reason it's relevant is because they then try and make it a bookmark at the end of the film.
I thought part of that was about showing him having strict rules.
Yes,
His life just exists.
Sorry, you cut
You're
out.
cutting up. You cut up completely then.
Okay. Hello, am I back now?
Yeah,
you're good now.
I felt a lot of it was about him having a strict routine to his life.
Yeah, it is.
Basically, day.
Yeah, the same thing
Wakes up,
happening every day.
does his exercises, puts the plant out, etc.
Yeah, I don't like the idea that just because something seems to be quite irrelevant and repeated doesn't mean that it shouldn't be in the film.
No, I think it's bad writing if you're putting in fluff that isn't actually relevant to the main themes. I disagree with that.
But it does. But it is relevant.
But it's
the
a
whole
very weak sort of thing.
routine thing.
I feel like it's sort of.
But without it's not. It's
So
also
what I'm saying the problem is that the only reason it's there in the first place is because eventually at the end, I know it does buy into like him having a strict routine, but that's clarified by like many other things that he do. That he do. But the only reason why it's in there is because of it at the ending, and it would have been more satisfying if they could have written it better, as in having a bookmark that is more inherent to the story.
There's a second reason as well. It's because he doesn't have relationships with humans really, and he has to have relationships.
He's into plants.
Yeah, he's into plants. So that's something that I feel it is part of his character.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I kind of felt that into it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the whole film, guys.
Whole film.
What do we think?
Personally, I definitely really enjoyed it. It took me by surprise as a movie.
Yeah.
And I was, a lot of the time I was very unsure what to expect. you don't go into most movies thinking, aha, this is going to be a sort of slightly paedophilic relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know it.
I definitely enjoyed it as a movie.
Yeah. It reminded like the.
No, I mean that's why it took me by surprise. I definitely
Yeah.
enjoyed it as a movie. I thought it was really well filmed and made. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's anything that I'd really say like ruined it, made it bad.
I mean,
Other than
to
that
give like a
fucking
number,
plant.
some people
Put down
don't
plant.
like giving, I don't know, numbers, but would people be willing to give it a number out of 10?
I'd give it an 8. But I'd say like to make it a 9 for me, I would have rather. It's all opinions, you know. No one's gonna die. But for me, it would have been a 9 if the midsection was concise.
Yeah,
Like it could still be written better.
I think I would also give it an 8. That was all I was going to say.
Yeah.
That was
Mhm.
I've thought about that.
Like, its merit for me is how unique it is.
Yeah.
Like it
So much so it's made cliches.
Pardon?
It's like so much so that it's made cliches, which you can see echoed in other action films.
But
Especially
Yeah,
Hitman.
I mean, I don't know if the thing of him dying and then he's got a grenade in his hand. I don't know if that is a cliche or a thing that Leon did first. But when that happened, I was a bit
definitely-
like, that's a thing.
Well,
I
you know, the way
feel
you,
I've
like-
seen that before '94. I feel
Yeah.
that is a bit of, or definitely the whole "I'm dead, but I'm going to get my last revenge." Haha,
is
is
like
a
kind
cliche.
of a nice
Yeah.
sort of twist. But like,
Yeah.
but the why do you call it a ring trick? It's so weird the way that they introduce it. It's like, oh, you want to see the ring trick? Like, I don't know why he called it a ring trick when it was just him using a grenade.
Well, it's because the grenade has a ring on it that you pull.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why he kind of called it that. It
Yeah,
just
I
seemed like an
think-
odd thing that he could just throw that line in later on.
Fabian and James, what would you have given it out of 10 if you can give it a number?
Can I just be awkward and go 8.5?
Yes,
You
you
can
can.
do
You
it.
just
Yeah.
did.
Use your
slightly,
numbering system.
slightly more than me and Henry.
Yeah. You know what? 8.1.
I think I'd go a bit lower. I feel I always end up giving things like the top.
Okay.
But so I think I'd give it a 6
Wow.
because I think it was amazing. The acting was amazing. You know, the casting was brilliant, and the shots and the drama were great and produced amazing tension. But I think occasionally it sort of felt sort of drag on, and you felt it wasn't really going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
The middle section, which objectively sucks.
maybe the
It may
reason
just be I have poor expectations on these things,
Right,
but that's how
may-
it went for me. Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
the
James.
reason why you think differently from middle section is because I've watched it in like 2 parts because I watched it on the train.
Oh yeah, maybe. I definitely felt at
You had
the hour
a
point.
cheeky
Yeah.
break.
It is nice. I actually did have a break when I rewatched
Yeah.
it today, like in the middle, because I just kind of got a bit sluggish. Maybe it was made with an interval. I don't know. You never know.
But yeah, so it was like halfway through the whole more developing the relationships and stuff. Like I had a bit of a break, so maybe that's the reason.
Yeah, there's definitely like it would make sense for there to be a break
Yeah.
as well. The way that the plot is kind of mirrored, like in the,
Yeah,
in the
it
way
is
that
actually
it goes
mirrored,
to get
isn't
to
it?
the middle bit, it then kind of starts going in reverse, at least thematically.
Yeah, it really is
Yeah.
mirrored.
But yeah, with my 8 as well, like I like to try and be critical, I guess, and stuff. But with this one, I feel like when you think of like what they were trying to achieve, they did it pretty
Yeah.
well. I don't know how else you would tell a story like this as cool as they did here. But yeah, I feel like in terms of making it not 2 hours, because when you've got a 2 hour film, you kind of expect like it to keep throwing more things at you. And I feel like if it had been shortened, maybe if it was like 1.5 hours, if not like 1 hour 20, like it could probably get there quite easily if it just wrote it snappier in the middle.
But
Yeah, sorry.
I like that there was a lot of depth and context in the middle
Yeah.
bit. So
I'm still up for like the depth. Just I feel like if you write it better, you can convey it in a quicker amount of time.
just remove that plan. It just sucks. Come on, guys.
Just the fucking plan is to fuck off.
Like
No, yeah.
it just had so many like stuff that you just didn't expect to just pop up.
Yeah.
Like just random plant, entire family just getting murdered. The paint thing.
But yeah, are there any final points people want to bring up? Because
Yeah.
I think we're sort of finna wrap up. You could anyone just wants to like throw in something? Rathbone?
No, nothing that I can think of right now.
Anything you haven't said yet on film? Just wanna.
One more thing. The
Oh.
Matilda's like really odd outfits.
Oh yeah, wait. What's he doing with what is Leon doing with an adult woman's bra?
No, that was
Oh.
her. That was hers, wasn't it?
Was it? Because I imagine she like wouldn't have a bra. Yet.
I thought she stole it from the apartment. I seem to remember that
She
was
could have stolen it.
established in a
Yeah,
shot.
she could have stolen it from.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember when she went back there, and I
Yeah.
think it was.
But
after
I don't think her dress was particularly kid, and this is the 90s.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. But like, I don't know. It's just that. I just found it weird.
I think that's sort of back when sort of kids were still more willing to have weird stuff on because they were fun.
Yeah.
They weren't pretentious little children that pretend they know the world, but they don't because you're fucking 12. Go back to bed. Anyway, yeah. Any other points people want to bring up? I don't know how else to like sort of. How do we end this?
Well, the end is.
There could be the next film. That
You know what?
Watch.
Do you know how we end this, Henry?
How do we end this? Wait. Do
Halfway
we
through,
have
do
the
your
next-
sentence.